in a quiet mountain village nestled between whispering pine trees and the rush of a clear river, lived an old woman named Lila. Her fame was simple, yet profound, carried in the curve of her hand-carved wooden spoons. Each one was a testament to simplicity and an unexplainable beauty. In this village, every kitchen held at least one of Lila's spoons, treasured and passed down through generations like a family heirloom. She lived a solitary life in a small cottage where the air was a gentle mix of sandalwood and old books. Every day she would wander into the forest, gathering fallen branches to transform into her art. She asked for very little in return for her craft. This wasn't because she undervalued her skill, but because her philosophy was pure. If my hands can serve others and my heart remains honest, I have all the wealth I need. Her life was a quiet rhythm of carving, giving, and living simply. One day, this tranquility was met by the ambition of the city. A young man named Haroun arrived, a merchant whose success was evident in his fine clothes and the large ruby that gleamed from a gold ring on his finger. He was on a quest for unique products to stock his stores across the country. At the local tea stall, his eyes fell upon one of Lila's spoons. He was instantly captivated. "Who made this?" he demanded, his voice sharp with business acumen. "Lila." The tea seller answered with a gentle smile. "She lives at the edge of the forest. Everyone here has one of her spoons." The next morning, Haroun strode up to Lila's cottage. "I want to buy 1,000 spoons," he declared, his voice booming with confidence. "I'll pay you handsomely," Lila, unfazed, let out a soft chuckle. "I can only make 5 or 6 a day," she explained. "But I carve each one by hand, slowly, carefully." Haroun, ever the businessman, saw a problem and a solution. "I can have machines do it," he offered. "You just give me your design. I'll make thousands, maybe millions." "We'll be rich." Lila looked at him, her eyes filled not with judgment, but with a deep understanding. "But they won't be made with love," she said softly. "They won't carry the stories of the wood or the patience of my fingers." Haroun was baffled. He looked around her humble home, at her worn clothes, at the simplicity of her existence. "You live in a small cottage, wearing old clothes. You walk instead of ride. How can you say you're rich?" Lila's gaze was kind, her question piercing. "Tell me, Haroun, when was the last time someone smiled at you without wanting something in return?" Haroun froze, his mind a blank. He couldn't remember. "Does anyone trust you without a contract?" she asked. He looked away, the silence a heavy answer. Then, perhaps, she concluded gently, "I'm richer than you." Haroun left her cottage that day feeling a profound confusion. Her words echoed in his mind, unsettling the very foundations of his world. Over the following weeks, he didn't leave, he stayed, becoming a silent observer of her life. He watched her give spoons to the poor, gently refuse extra payment from the well-off, and carve late into the night for a widow who needed a special gift for her grandson. Everything she did was steeped in sincerity, honesty, and a complete absence of greed or hurry. One afternoon, Harun witnessed something that broke through his final wall of skepticism. He saw Leela give her very last coin to a beggar on the street. He couldn't contain himself any longer. "Why do you give everything away?" he asked, his voice full of disbelief. "Aren't you afraid of being left with nothing?" Leela just smiled, a peaceful, knowing smile. "You only lose what you try to hold too tightly," she told him. "I give what I can, and somehow I'm always provided for." Years rolled by. The sharp-suited merchant began to fade. Harun stopped his travels, but he remained in the village, first helping Leela collect wood, then slowly, patiently, learning her craft. But he learned more than just how to carve. He learned how to listen, how to connect, how to make each spoon a vessel of meaning and blessing. The gold ring with the red ruby disappeared from his finger. He sold his vast businesses. The constant worry about profit was replaced by a quiet sense of purpose. He found joy in making spoons for children, for travelers, for newlyweds, each one a unique piece of his own newfound sincerity. One day, a visitor from the city recognized the humble craftsman. "You were Harun, the merchant. What happened? You were so wealthy." Harun simply smiled, his face weathered by the sun and softened by contentment. "I thought I was wealthy back then," he replied, "but now people trust me. They greet me with open hands. I sleep with peace in my heart. I may not have much money, but I have more than gold can buy. True wealth is not in the coins we collect, but in the character we build. Sincerity earns respect. Honesty earns peace. And those are treasures no thief can ever steal." Thank you for watching. If this story resonated with you, please consider liking and subscribing for more content that feeds the soul.